Hi, my name is Cory Cowgill. This is my CloudSpokes entry for the Move Attachments challenge. Um, Today I'm going to go through the use case, screen for screen, and show you the functionality. And then I will do a deep dive into the Visualforce and Apex code and the custom button that needs to be put on each page that you want to move attachments for. So, to start off, as part of the requirement, I created a new custom button called Move Attachments, and this type of button can be added to any object. You can add it to accounts, contacts, any record in the system, custom objects, etc. Now, for this case, we're going to use an opportunity. Now, if you scroll down, you can see that I've added a few test attachments to this file, and I added pictures just because they tend to have larger file sizes. Now, what a user will do is, per the requirement, they click on the Move Attachments button, and this is going to take them to a page, a Visualforce page, which will display the record that it came from, the list of libraries and CRM content that you can move the content into, and you can then select or deselect all of the items. So as you can see here, I have my list of uh, workspace libraries that I've created. So I'm going to say Opportunity Library. Per the requirements, we have a select all and a deselect all functionality. They can also piecemeal choose which files they would like to select. For this case, I'm just going to move two of the files over. And then what I can do is they click this Move Attaches in this button. What this will do, this will move the attachments from the record into CRM content. And then the attachment records will be deleted so that there isn't duplicates in the system. So I'm going to go ahead and click Move Attachments here. As you can see, the user will get a successful prompt saying the attachment was removed successfully. The page refreshes so that it can, if they want to continue to move attachments over into the library, they can. If they want to cancel out, they can also do that as well. So let's say here I'm done. I'm going to say, okay, I'm done. Cancel out. And it'll take them back to the previous record that they were on. And if I scroll down, you'll see that there's only two attachments here. So that's great. Now let's double check and make sure that our content is actually in CRM content. It didn't just get deleted. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my libraries. And I'm going to select the Opportunity Library. And you can see that here are the two files that were moved over less than 1 minute ago. There you go. That is the use case. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward per the requirements on the CloudSpokes entry page. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open up the Apex Visualforce page and the Apex controller so that we can do a little deep dive into the page. Well, I guess first actually let's go ahead and look at the setup so we can see how that button's created. So on any object that you want to add this to, for example, opportunities, you're going to go into the buttons and links section. You're going to take a look at here's the custom button that I created. It's a detail page button per the requirements. And you can see here what it is it's simply a URL execute JavaScript, or I'm sorry, it's a button here that's a link URL that's going to link straight to the Visualforce page, and it's going to pass in the opportunity ID and the opportunity name. These two parameters here are generic so that any page you add it to, you can just add account.id, account.name. These will go over into the Visualforce page. So that's how you invoke the Visualforce page. So if we scoot on over to the source code, you're going to see that the attachment move controller and the attachment move page are our two primary pages. And we also have a constants file here. And we have our test classes, which we don't need to go into. So here's my Visualforce page. As you can see, it uses all standard Visualforce tags. Nothing fancy. And here we have our Apex Move controller. As you can see here, we have our getters and setters on all our attributes that need to be accessible via the page. I have my constructor. You'll notice that all of the methods are wrapped in try-catch blocks to handle error messages appropriately. We have an initialization method, which basically refreshes the page if the user needs to. Basically, this is recalled in the constructor as well as when a action is called. And here we have our move attachments function, which is probably the most complicated one. The first thing we do is we set a save point in case we need to roll back the transaction. Then we wrap it in a try-catch block. And then we iterate over the list of attachments from the screen. And if any of the attachments on the screen are selected, then we need to add them to the list of attachments that we can move over. Now, you might be asking why are we querying for attachments when we did in the instructor? Well, we don't want to add the body method, which is the bytes of the file, until we absolutely have to save space in the view state. We don't want to carry all that file body in the view state. So what we do is we just display the ID and name in the screen and the file size, and then we requery again to get the actual body content for the transfer. And we iterate over all of these full attachments, and we create a content version doc. These are the docs that are used in CRM content. We add the title as the name. We add the version data as the body, the file data. The first published location ID is going to be the workspace library. This is the library that's selected in the dropdown. And then we have a path on client. So this is required by the API. What we do is we just provide it the file name. And then we have some error handling here where if the size is greater than 0, then we know we have some selected. So let's go ahead and perform the insert of the documents and the delete of the old attachments. And then we refresh the page and we add the success message to the page, and we add and then that's it. This method finishes. If there is no files selected, then what we do is we throw an exception to say you need a selected file because you can't do 0. And if there's any exception, we will roll back the transaction so that nothing occurred in the database, and we'll display an error message to the user describing the error message. I also have select all and deselect all. These just simply iterate over the list, select all of them or unselect all of them. We have a cancel button, which simply returns the user back to the previous record, the parent record. And we have an attachment wrapper class. The attachment wrapper class is necessary so that you can have a data table in Salesforce with a Boolean to select or deselect values. And that's it for the code deep dive. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Any questions, please reach out to me. Thanks.